Hello, all. Virgo, come sit with this. What arrived today has been buried for a long time. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Subscribe if this already has a name in it for you. Let's go carefully into it. There is a love that predates its own expression, not in the mystical sense of something that was ordained before either person was born. In the very ordinary, very human, very real sense of a feeling that existed before the person carrying it had the language for it, before they had the context for it, before the specific conditions of their life, their readiness, their circumstances, their capacity for the full weight of what they felt had developed to the point where expression became possible without the expression itself becoming something that distorted or diminished or outpaced what it was trying to say. The love existed before you knew about it, was present in this person from an early point in whatever the history between you is, from the first encounter, from the specific moment that is the start the title refers to. Present in the way that things are present before they can be named, in the way that a structure is present in the foundation before the building above it makes the structure visible, in the way that a feeling occupies a person's interior from the moment it arrives, regardless of whether that person has yet found the form to bring it to the surface where someone else could see it. You were being loved in the period when you did not know you were being loved. That is the first thing this reading is saying, not as consolation, as fact. A corrective to the reading of that period, you may have been carrying the reading in which their restraint meant absence, their caution meant indifference, their inability to say what they felt meant an absence of what they felt. The restrained version of a feeling is still the feeling. The held version of love is still love. The person who could not yet say it was in the not saying, still carrying it. They were carrying it from the start. From the start. Let's excavate this, not lightly, carefully, the way things are excavated when what is being uncovered is significant and fragile and has been buried long enough that carelessness could damage it. Because the start is where the proof lives, and the proof matters, and it is worth going back to it clearly rather than leaving it as a vague claim about the nature of what has been between you. What is the start? The start is the specific moment, and there is a specific moment, even when the specific moment does not announce itself as such, even when it looks from the outside like any other moment between any two people when this person first registered you, not noticed, registered. The body level precognitive something is different about this person registration that happens before the mind has had a chance to evaluate or categorize or assign meaning to what is happening. The registration that produces the specific involuntary reorganization of attention in the direction of one person out of all the available people, not chosen, not decided, simply happened. That moment exists in the history between you. And from that moment, in whatever form the time since then has taken, whatever the specific, complicated, sometimes painful, sometimes warm, sometimes confusing shape of what has developed between you since the registration. From that moment, the feeling has been present, not always expressed, not always legible, not always behaving in the ways that feelings are supposed to behave when they are real and present and demanding to be acknowledged, but present, continuous, the underground water that flows below the visible surface, that does not announce itself on the surface, that is only visible when conditions are right for it to reach the surface, but that is always there, always moving, always following its own internal logic toward the place it needs to go. The water has been flowing toward you from the start. Nobody else. The title says this, and it is the part most likely to produce the complicated mixture of wanting it to be true and not quite letting yourself believe it that characterizes the reception of information about being irreplaceable, about being the one, about the feeling this person has for you not being transferable to someone else, not being the kind of feeling that could be directed at the nearest suitable candidate and produce the same result in a different person. The mixture is understandable. The wanting it to be true is real. The not quite letting yourself believe it has its reasons. But nobody else is not a romantic trope here. Is less than #0. 5# is greater than. It is a specific psychological phenomenon with a specific cause. The feeling this person has for you is not generalized attraction, is not the feeling of someone who found you appealing among several appealing options and selected you on the basis of comparative evaluation. It is specific to you in the way that a key is specific to a lock. The key does not work on every lock. It was shaped for a particular one. And the person whose interior has been shaped by the specific experience of you, by the specific unrepeatable combination of everything you are and everything that has passed between you, that interior does not produce the same feeling in response to a different person. Cannot. The shaping was particular. The response is particular. The lock opened for a specific key, and no other key opens it. You are the specific key, not because you are the best person in the abstract, not because you are objectively superior to all alternatives, but because you are the specific, particular, this and not that person whose presence in this person's life did what nothing and no one else did, opened something in them, created access to something in them that was not accessible before you arrived and has not been accessible since in the same way. Whatever the time between you has contained the difficulty, the distance, the periods of absence or uncertainty, or the specific complications that make human connection messy and nonlinear and resistant to the clean narratives, we would prefer that opening did not close. Still open is less than #0. 5# is greater than, still yours. Meant to be. Now we arrive at the phrase that carries the most weight and requires the most honest handling, because meant to be is the most abused phrase in the vocabulary of love, and it deserves rehabilitation before being applied to what is actually happening here. In its abused form, meant to be is the magical thinking that mistakes the intensity of wanting for evidence of destiny, that reads the feeling as proof of the rightness rather than examining whether the feeling is matched by the actual behavior, the actual showing up, the actual sustained presence and choosing that constitutes a relationship rather than just a feeling about a relationship. That version of meant to be is not what this is. What the meant to be in this reading actually describes is something more structural and more real. It is the specific compatibility of two people at the level of what they are actually for, not just what they like, not just what they find attractive, not just the surface correspondence of shared interests and similar aesthetics and the comfortable familiarity of someone who moves through the world in ways that feel recognizable. The deeper thing, the specific interior, this is what I was built for correspondence that produces in two people who encounter it the specific vertiginous, slightly frightening experience of being genuinely seen, of having the thing they are, the actual thing, the one they do not show to most people, recognized by someone who was apparently looking for exactly that, is less than #0. 5# is greater than that recognition happened between you. In the start, in the registration, in the specific moment when the feeling arrived in this person and would not leave, they recognized something at the level of the actual, something that corresponded so precisely to what they were oriented toward, not what they thought they wanted, not what they had been told they should want, but what they were actually structurally at the level of the real thing built for, that the recognition could not be argued away, has not been argued away, has persisted through everything that might have argued it away. That is the meant to be, not fate, recognition, the specific, mutual, structural recognition of two people who correspond to each other at the level that matters, and the persistence of that recognition through all the time and difficulty and complication that followed the moment it first occurred. What the from the start means for right now, it means the feeling is not new, does not need the heat of new wanting to sustain itself, does not require the specific energy of early stage infatuation, the uncertainty and the pursuit and the heightened state of someone who does not yet know whether they will be chosen to remain alive. The feeling that has been present from the start is the kind that has already passed through all of those stages, and what remains is not the beginning of something, but the core of something. The part that was always there, underneath the beginning and the middle and whatever the present moment is, the part that does not burn hot, because it does not need to burn hot. It is structural now, woven into what this person is, not a feeling they have, a fact about them. You are a fact about this person. Not a phase, not a preference that might change, a fact. The specific, structural, irreversible fact of someone whose interior has been changed by your presence in it and does not return to the pre-change configuration no matter what else occurs. That kind of change is not reversible. The fact of you in them is not something that can be unfactored. It is there in the way that certain things are there, not loudly, not continuously demanding acknowledgement, but permanently in the foundation, in the molecular arrangement of what they are now, as opposed to what they were before you. You are in their foundation. And what is in someone's foundation does not leave when the surface changes. That nobody else in practice, what it means when you are with them, not in the abstract of being the one in the daily specific, this is what it looks like in real life reality of being in the company of someone for whom you are irreplaceable. It means their full attention is available in a way it is not available elsewhere. Not their managed attention, the portion of attention that polite people give to polite conversations. Their actual attention, the kind that is not multitasking, the kind that is not simultaneously thinking about something else, the kind that is just there, pointed at you with the specific, complete, nothing else is competing for this quality of attention that people give only to the things and the people that have earned full access to the interior. You have full access. You have had full access from the start. The attention that is available to you from this person is not the same kind of attention that is available to others. It is fuller. It is more present. It is the specific, undivided quality of someone who is not managing the encounter but living in it. It means their honesty with you has a different quality than their honesty elsewhere. Not just more honesty in quantity, different in kind. The honesty that is possible with someone you love from the start is the honesty that includes the things you are not proud of, the doubts you cannot resolve, the fears that would make you seem smaller in the eyes of someone you needed to impress. With you, they do not need to impress. The needing to impress dissolved in the fact of what they felt because the feeling was too real to be maintained alongside the performance of a version of themselves that was designed to produce a response. The performance and the feeling are incompatible. The feeling won. What you get is the one without the performance. It means in the moments when life is hardest, the direction they face is toward you. Not always visibly, not always in the way of reaching out and saying, I need you, but internally, in the specific, involuntary, the body knows where home is way of someone whose interior compass, when it is not being directed by the mind towards something else, points at you. That pointing is permanent. That direction is yours. In the difficult hours, when the management falls away and the actual orientation of the person is visible, you are the direction. This is worth receiving fully. Not at the managed distance of someone who has been disappointed before and has learned to keep the hopeful things slightly out of reach until they are proven. Not in the cautious, I'll believe it when I see more evidence way of someone whose experience has made full reception feel dangerous. Not with the preemptive undersizing that protection produces. Fully at the actual size of what is being said, which is not small. The actual size of what is being said is, you have been loved from the beginning by someone for whom no one else produces what you produce. Someone who is not waiting for you to be better or different or more ready or more available. Someone who has been carrying the fact of you as a permanent structural element of their interior, not always comfortably, not always without cost, but continuously and without meaningful interruption from the moment the registration happened, from the start, through everything to now. And the now is the closest the from the start and the present moment have ever been to the same place at the same time. The closest the interior fact of their feeling and the exterior reality of what they are willing to show and say and do about it have ever been to each other. The gap that has existed between the depth of what they carry and the surface expression of it is not gone, but narrowing in the specific cannot be stopped once it has reached this point way of things that have been moving toward each other for a long time and have crossed the threshold at which momentum carries them the rest of the way. Nobody else. Virgo. Not in the sense of you're being required to be their everything or to carry the weight of being irreplaceable without the support of someone who shows up proportionally, not in the sense of something that excuses past behavior or erases the history of what the difficult periods cost, but in the structural, foundational, built into what they are sense of a person for whom you are not one of the options. Whew. You are the reference point. Everything else is measured against you. Every other connection is felt in contrast to what they feel with you. Every other conversation has the specific quality of a conversation that is not this one. Every other presence occupies a different register of their experience, warmer perhaps, or more convenient, or less complicated, or more available, but not this register, not the register you occupy, not the full attention, honesty, without performance, interior compass pointing register that is yours and has been yours from the start. That register is not available to anyone else. It is yours because it was opened by you, because you were the specific person whose arrival caused the opening, because the lock and the key found each other in the specific, unrepeatable, this happened once configuration of the start. And what opened then has not closed. Has been open this whole time, waiting, not passively, not in the resigned way of something that has stopped expecting, but in the active, continuing, still oriented in your direction way of something that knows where it is going and is still going there. It is still going there toward you, as it has been going from the start.